Hi. So today on the menu, I'm going to be making a lentil soup with some Indian flavor. So it's Indian lentil soup. So what you need, nothing fancy really. You really do need a slow cooker, sharp knife, nice cutting board. And this time of year we're looking for warming and soothing and comforting foods as our days are starting to get shorter and the nights are getting longer and our days are getting colder. So we really have to listen to our body and nourish what it's looking for. So as the days get colder, I'm less likely to have some salads. I'm more looking for those warming soup flavors. So what we need today, you need about a cup and a half of red lentils. No, I rinse them off first. So I'm going to place this in my slow cooker. And because I rinsed them, they're all stuck together. That's okay. There we go. They're stuck to the bottom after I rinsed them. I had them sitting there for a little bit. So this is a great way to get your supper going early in the morning before you go to work. So we have a cup and a half of lentils. I'll put that in do my dishes after work. And here I have 7 cups of chicken stock. So that goes in the pot. There we go. Next thing we're going to add here is an onion, a medium onion chopped. I did chop this last night to make things a little quicker and easier for myself. I ran out of regular onions, so I did have a red onion in the fridge, so I'm going to use that today. So even if a recipe calls for a certain type of thing, you just sometimes have to improvise. So that goes in. And the next thing here is ginger. So it's about 1 inch of ginger that I cut, peeled, and I minced very finely. So that goes in. I love the smell of ginger. Okay, so the next thing is 1 jalapeno pepper chopped. I didn't have a jalapeno pepper, but I did have a jar of these jalapeno peppers that I use for making my salsa. So I'm going to take a little spoonful of that and chop it up. And you put in as much as you like. You can skip this part altogether if you don't like anything spicy. So I'm going to use about that much. I'm going to chop this up a little bit. Adds to the warmth that we're looking for this time of year. Good, and then our spices are a teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, and 1.5 teaspoons of cumin, which I've got all here ready to go. So we're going to sprinkle that in there. And then the next thing to go is sweet potato. So I already started to chop some of them. I'm just going to demo how I peel it. I find sweet potato a little bit daunting sometimes. So I just cut it, slice it in half, place the sliced part on the cutting board. Then I start from the top and I'll just kind of peel it going towards the cutting board, taking a little layer off the outer edge. And sweet potatoes are always in funny shapes sometimes, so you have to work with it. I'm going to keep my peels for our compost for next year. For some of you, if you've been following my pictures on Facebook, we've been growing our own vegetables. So I do compost everything I can get my hands on. Watch your fingers here. Okay, great. So we're going to throw that in. And the last last thing to put in for this part is green beans. It asks for about a cup, but I might have more than that. So I'm just gonna cut these a little bit. And I'll have to tell you, I'm not a chef, so I don't have those fancy techniques that they have. But you don't have to be a chef. You don't have to know a whole lot about cooking to get in the kitchen, and that's the point, is to try to get back in the kitchen so you can cook healthy things and quick, nutritious things for your family. So the lentils are very high in fiber. It has about 8 grams per serving and is very high in protein as well, so about 9 grams. It has iron and vitamin B6 and magnesium, so we're getting a lot of nutrients from our red lentils. Okay, so let's close the cover. This is going to go on low for 6 hours. So when I come home from work, this should be ready for the next step. And the next step is to add some spinach to it and some coconut milk. So I don't have spinach, but what I do have, since we harvested our garden, is I do have some beet tops, beet greens. So I'm going to improvise and change the recipe a little bit and add that to the soup at the very end stage. So we'll see you in about 6 hours. Great. Hello again. So 6 hours have passed and I came home today from work and it smells delicious. So the next step that we need to do to complete this beautiful dish is to add 2 cups of spinach. And like I mentioned earlier, I have so much of this beautiful beet tops, beet greens from our garden that I need to use it in something. So I'm going to use that instead of the spinach. So you can go ahead and use spinach. You can use whatever you want, really. And then we put in a can of coconut milk. So today I have this organic coconut milk. What I like about this particular one, it's Chaz organic coconut milk. And the ingredients are organic coconut and water. So there's no extra stuff in there. So I'm going to lift up this cover. I'm just going to give this a little chop. I'm going to put the stems in as well, because it will go away to practically nothing. Dump that in here. Open up my can of coconut milk. Give this a little stir. Make sure that the greens are in the liquid. There we go. And we're going to pour this in. There we go. Perfect. So I will put the lid back on here and let this cook a little bit longer. So I'm going to turn this on high for 30 minutes and then we'll see how it tastes. Okay, here we go. It's ready. It smells delicious. Have a little taste. I don't have the right ladle for that, but that's okay. So you can serve this as is, or you can have a little bit of naan bread to go with it, or any kind of flat bread. I'm going to top mine on with a little bit of chopped fresh cilantro. It's delicious. A little tiny spice there, not too much. And you can adjust that spiciness to your liking. If you don't like jalapeno peppers, take them out. If you like more, add more. Whatever you do, don't get too caught up on recipes. Like you saw, I changed my beet tops instead of the spinach. I use the jarred jalapeno peppers versus a fresh one. So occasionally you're gonna, come to some recipes that you just don't have the ingredients. So just improvise, have fun, and the most important thing is just get back in the kitchen. Get back in the kitchen, cook some nutritious meals for your family, and be healthy. Thanks.